And now I would like to invite Shri Devashri Sen, Principal Secretary, Urban Development Department, and the Vice and the Chairman cum Managing Director of West Bengal HIDCO present with us, who are also planning for the development of Rajarhat, building it into a smart city.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. President Dr. Rao, Dr. Reddy, dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. My colleague Alapon Bandyopadhyay, the good orator that he is, has summed up the recent policy initiatives which concern very much all of us. So I'm happy that he has put the government's point of view very clearly. I will only take up a few more points that we are working on, which I think this forum should know of. I'll talk of, for example, the smart city programs. We know that the Prime Minister and the President has announced that there will be 100 smart new cities in India. In West Bengal, we have already identified 10 such cities where, new or old, it will be renovated or freshly built, and therein lies the future of urban development in the state. So if you are even remotely connected with the realty business, I think you should interest yourself right now. Some of these cities are for New Town Rajarhat, of course, of which you will talk a little more later, but there are places right from in the North Bengal, in Joygaon, close to Bhutan, to Durgapur, from Kollani to Baruipur, and we have a very firm list on which we are working on. I leave this list with NAR, and we will keep you informed so that you also know to advise people that here is where Bengal urban population is going to grow. I will come directly to this NAR as I'll join Alapon with to say that Dr. Rao has very clearly explained what is the difference between CREDAI and NAR. Most of the issues being raised by CREDAI has been addressed too, and now that we have a vibrant organization of NAR, I'm sure if the Calcutta chapter is very vibrant, we will solve their problems as well. But I would like to draw your attention to a new area that is coming in, which you should give a very, very close attention to. Houses, of course, are very important, but you can't buy a house unless you earn. And unless you earn, to earn, you need a place to work. And if that business place is not there, everything falls flat. So in the area of the non-residential sector, even the government is looking for transaction advisor. In the government who build traditionally the larger infrastructure, including cities, including the roads, including the bridges, but we are traditionally very poor marketeers. So while I, in my HIDCO cap on, am building a new town, I don't know very well how to sell properly. To such an extent that while we are building the financial hub in Rajarhat New Town, and we have plots, and the expression of interest is already there on the web, and it's in the domain, but I am not very sure how to reach out to people who are looking for that kind of property. And therefore, what we did was, we floated another expression of interest, asking formally for transaction advisors who can advise us how best to go about it. As a matter of detail, in this case, the ILFS has been chosen as the transaction advisors for the plots in Rajarhat New Town. But I would like to say that this is an area in which the realtors, as defined by Dr. Rao, have a new opening that's coming up. Be it Rajarhat New Town, be it the monetization of land that Transport Secretary was talking about, be it Durgapur, where HFCL, a huge 400 acres of land is coming up, but it needs to connect, the basic reason for a transaction advisor, the supply side and the demand side. How do we connect? We do not know very well. So if we have specialized wings who deal with non-residential opportunities as well, I think it will help in getting this country grow even faster, because I believe that roti, kapra and makan, to make the makan you first need roti, and to make the roti you need business opportunities, and to make business opportunities you need investors, and to need investors you must connect investors with availability of land and other infrastructural resources. With this thought, I will add another thing, and that will be my last, is that while I agree that the population growth of India is a factor why houses are growing up, and in fact there is also this new scheme announced by the central government recently, and we were there in Vigyan Bhavan with Minister Firad Hakim, is that there is a very ambitious program that has come up that says housing for all by 2022. 2022, we were wondering why this 22, we hear of 2020. 2022, we were told, is when India reaches this 75 years of its independence. We just had 68 yesterday. So this housing for all, and there a lot of development is coming up in the urban areas. I just want to say that not only because of increase in population, but also migration into urban areas, that opportunities are going by leaps and bounds. While Dr. Rao mentioned 2050, I will mention a much less period of 2039, when it is projected that most of India will live in the cities. And do we have enough places to live in the cities? That is why we are propagating, we are trying to build taller cities, because there isn't enough land in the cities, and it makes urban sprawl absolutely unmanageable. So in Rajarhat New Town, we have one of the highest FARs that is allowed in the CBD. It is 3.5 normally, which can be increased to 6 if necessary. We really want tall places there. And we are therefore trying to make Rajarhat New Town sort of Singapore of Kolkata, where Singapore, the FAR available, where the delegation in which Mr. Bandyopadhyay is also there is going tomorrow, and I believe some of the delegates are here. In Singapore, in certain areas, the FAR allowed is 11 and 12. So we would very much want more things to come up in the limited space that we have. Let people stay in harmony, and to come back to the basic theme of this seminar, let us connect with you, not only for housing, but for non-housing purposes as well. I would end my presentation by gifting a small book to Dr. Rao, the President. It's called The New Address of Money. We are having 23 plots of prime CBD land overlooking a 480-acre eco park. We like to believe it is one of the best in Eastern India and probably India. If possible, please visit there in your 2-day stay here and give us suggestions, but I think it's a great place to relax. And why I am mentioning this here is that our theme for this financial hub is where boating matters as much as banking, where there is a fine work-life balance. So please come and help us get players, get investors in this financial hub. And I would like to take The New Address of Money, the book, to Professor Rao. And there is a CD also inside showing what is happening. And if time permits in any of these 2 days, if it can be shown, I shall be much obliged. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir, for extending your vision of new India as it is developing, sharing the development plan of West Bengal, where he seeks the support of the transaction advisors and various stakeholders across the value chain towards making it as a good business plan, and also sharing the proactive approach of the state of West Bengal, the government of West Bengal, towards addressing the huge urbanization and the rapid pace of urbanization which is happening here, talking about Housing for All Policy 2022. So thank you for that view, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can definitely not organize a big conference like this without the support of your partners in success. We have Mr. Rahul Saraf, the Chairman and Managing Director of Forum Group, our platinum sponsors, our title sponsors, and they are also India's leading concept reality developer. I would like to request and invite him to address you all.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to Calcutta. As the principal sponsor, I would have thought that NAR would be kind on me and give me a subject which is less difficult than what I have been asked to speak upon. 3 days ago, I got a call from Jitender, and he said that I should speak about Indian real estate and where we stand today. Last couple of days, I've been thinking, where really do we stand today? And to be honest with you, this is what I think where we stand today. Most of our buyers, after making advance payments to the developer through the realtor fraternity sitting here, are worried with sleepless nights whether the developer is really going to give him his product at the end of the day, at the time promised, of the quality that was assured to him. The banking fraternity, very, very worried to give us loans to support the project because of the similar kind of worries, whether the project will be delivered on time, and therefore whether the loans extended would be safe or not. The $10 billion plus that came into our country between 2006 and 2008 through the FDI route to be invested in various projects, after 7 years is dying to get out of this country, even after taking a 40% to 60% haircut on their original investments. Recently, Supreme Court, certain judgments of the Supreme Courts, some senior developers, big developers of this country, has been reprimanded for various reasons, which is a clear indication of the times ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I thought it's important that since I have been given this assignment to talk about where we stand today, and especially in the inaugural session of this 2-day convention, I thought it's important to lay down the cards as to really where does 99% of Indian real estate stand today. Ladies and gentlemen, a senior clergyman in the early 70s, Thomas Muller, once said that things are difficult before they become easy. To my mind, we are today standing at that cusp of time where difficulty is going to transform into ease. If you look at the recent announcements made by the government in their budget, lowering of FDI limits, bringing it down to 20,000 meter square project sizes, bringing down the investment limits to $3 million, literally means that foreign investments need not now be restricted only to the metropolitan cities of India. They need not be restricted to the large size developments of India. A small 20,000 meter square development, a small ticket investment of $3 million is sizable enough to take FDI into the deepest corners of India. There is millions and millions and millions and millions of square feet that all the developer fraternities today hold in their portfolio in the form of annuity assets, be it shopping malls, be it IT parks and SEZs. The recent announcements in the budget giving clarifications on tax details, and the announcements made by SEBI last week on the creation of the REIT infrastructure, I am told will ensure that more than $20 billion will be raised through the Real Estate Investment Trust mechanism. Everyone is looking forward to this. Tax incentives for affordable housing proposed in the budget, and liberal housing finance for the small ticket home buyers. 1,100 smart cities all across India. What does it mean for us? what do we need to grow? What is it that we need from the government to grow our business? We need abundant and cheap raw material. By announcement of smart cities, by announcements of hundreds of kilometers of roads and highways, extension of new infrastructures, I think there will be plenty of raw material going forward. Cheap finance to be able to grow our business. I think the lowering of the FDI and the installation of the REIT will ensure that there is billions of dollars available to us to be able to conduct our business. Tax incentives in place, and a robust exit mechanism for the developers after they have built their annuity assets to be able to pass it on into the public domain through the REIT mechanism. I think government has done everything it can do in its position to give us support in our business. It's now for the developers to put their act in place, bring in best practices, transparency, and all the other bottlenecks that today restrains us from encashing this significant opportunity. You know, most of the property brochures that are printed today carry this disclaimer at the end of its brochure somewhere that literally absolves the developer of what it has promised in the brochure. It can change all the plans, it can replace the club with a high-rise tower, it can remove the green space, it can change the apartment layouts. I hope that before 2020, someone in the developer fraternity is going to put a strong page there which says that if we don't follow what we have committed, if we don't deliver you on time that we have promised, if we don't adhere to the quality and the approvals that has been granted to us, these are the penalties that will be imposed upon us. Ladies and gentlemen, when for the first time foreign investments were allowed into the Indian stock market, it was important for the government to create a regulatory mechanism so that the stock markets could be monitored. Without SEBI, we would not have had such a robust stock market that we have today. It is important for us to imbibe upon ourselves a regulatory mechanism. It's important that we partner the government in its initiative and impose upon us those regulatory legislations which will ensure that the entire development fraternity has its code of conduct in place, and we all form a part of the global real estate business before the 2020 vision that the government has set for itself. One more word I would like to say is on smart cities. Most of the cities that we live in today have been built by the Britishers some 100 years, 200 years, 300 years ago. When we now talk of smart cities, every developer should introspect what these smart cities should be of, whether it's the green code, whether it's the community centers, whether it's the ease of transport, how these cities could be made lively for the young generation of India, because India's average population is still very, very young. And as urbanization takes place, these new smart cities become the preferred destinations for the youngsters to live in. It's for us developers to assist the government in conceiving these smart cities so that they stand out for the next 100 years for our next generations to live in. I think over the course of the next 2 days, we should all introspect with one single goal. And that goal should be that where do we want to be in our respective businesses by 2020? I think we should all draw a line of 5 years and 6 years to ourselves and see how we can partner the government in their vision of India in 2020. That's, I think, should be one of the subject matters that we should speak about. I would once again reiterate, I said we are on the cusp of when difficulty turns into ease. I hope that happens by Monday morning when we get back to our work, when we have clarity of thought as to how we should conduct our business going forward. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for your very thoughtful approach to the entire scenario of the real estate sector, how we're definitely in very challenging time and very exciting times also. So it lets now to the industry to embrace the change and come up with new innovativeness, new concepts, new business models, as you mentioned, as we look forward to the growth and addressing this challenge. So thank you for your very constructive views. And on this occasion, ladies and gentlemen, we now have the launch of a coffee table book, which is Kolkata Smiles. I would like to invite here Mr. Sameer Prasad, the designer of this book. The concept behind this entire book has been presented by him. And I would like to request Mr. Ajay Agarwal and Mr. Jitendra Khitan to kindly present the copy to Mr. Devashit Sen for the launch. And as we have the launch, I would like to invite the other distinguished dignitaries on the dais to kindly join us in the launch of the book. Ladies and gentlemen, launching Kolkata Smiles. Can I request you all to kindly face the camera as we have this launch? Thank you, sir. Many congratulations to Mr. Sameer Prasad. Thank you, sir, for doing the honors of launching the book. And ladies and gentlemen, we now express our deep gratitude and appreciation to our guest speakers for sharing their vision, their expert views, and their guiding views by presenting them a token of thanks and regards. This is a copy of the book which is being presented to our distinguished dignitaries on the dais. Thank you again. So ladies and gentlemen, now please join us as we express our gratitude and thanks to our distinguished guest speakers. First expressing thanks to Shri Devashit Sen, and I would like to request Mr. Kishore Bed to kindly present the memento, expressing our deep regards to him. I invite Mr. Kishore Bed. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in expressing thanks to him. Definitely giving us the vision which the government of West Bengal has towards developing the state. Shri Alapan Bandyopadhyay had to leave, but we express thanks to him. Thanking Shri Shekhar Reddy. Thank you, sir. And I would like to request Mr. Sachin Shroff to kindly present him the memento. Ladies and gentlemen, each one of their guiding views and the thoughts which they have shared with us, it is going to be helping us in making this sector grow. And as we move more into the technical sessions after this, it's going to be basically opening up our horizons towards addressing these challenges which the sector faces. Thanking them. Thanking Mr. Harshvardhan Patodia, and I would like to request and invite Mr. Ajay Agarwal, if I can request him to kindly present this token of thanks in regards to him. And a very big thank you and a sincere thank you to Mr. Rahul Saraf for all the support which he has extended and all the views which he has shared with us. I would like to request Ms. Robin Waters to kindly present the memento to him. Thank you. And as we now conclude the inaugural session, I would like to invite NAR Secretary, Mr. Ayub Khan, to kindly propose a formal vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a wonderful session, an excellent start to the 6th NAR-India Convention. I would like to thank our chief guest, Janab Farid Hakim, Honorable Minister of Urban Development, Government of West Bengal. He has not been able to come today, but as Dr. Rao said, has blessed the occasion. I would like to thank our guest of honor, Sri Alapan Bandyopadhyay, Principal Secretary, Housing and Transport Department, Government of West Bengal, and Sri Debashis Sen, Principal Secretary, Urban Development Department, Government of West Bengal, for taking time out of their valuable schedule and gracing the convention with their presence and updating us on various government policies. On behalf of NAR-India, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would like to thank the President of CREDAI, India, Mr. Shekhar Reddy, and the President of CREDAI, Bengal, Mr. Harsh Vardhan Patodia. We are fortunate to be close enough to developers to know just how busy they are. We thank you for making the time to be amongst us, and we appreciate your support for our endeavors. I would like to thank the NAR-India Chairman, Dr. PSN Rao, the NAR-India President, Mr. Sachin Shroff, and the incoming President, Mr. H.L. Bagra, and the Chair of ICRIA and Chairman of International Affairs, Mr. Farooq Mohammed. A special mention of thanks to our international guest and dear friend of NAR-India, Dr. Norman Flynn, and the FIAPC World President, Ms. Robin Waters, and all our other national and international guests who have traveled hundreds and thousands of miles to be with us today. I would like to thank our title sponsor, Mr. Rahul Sraf, Forum Group, and all our other sponsors for their support, trust, and belief in us. I would like to thank the President of RECA and the entire Government Board of RECA, who have put a lot of effort to make this convention happen. Last but not the least, the convention chairman, Mr. Jitendra Khaitan, for a great start to the convention. I assure you that he has much more in store for us. Thank you one and all, especially the press and media, for supporting us. Please enjoy the convention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you once again to all our esteemed speakers of the inaugural session. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of this session. I would like to request you all to kindly remain at your respective seats because we are going to be moving straight into our keynote address. May I request distinguished dignitaries to kindly be seated in the front row. Thank you indeed to all of you for your very valuable contribution and suggestion.